Character Study Number 3, The Unromantic Genius of Charlotte Lucas. Character Study Number 3, The Unromantic Genius of Charlotte Lucas. Hello and welcome back to The Art Director's Debrief. We have explored the fiery idealism of Elizabeth Bennet and the complex pride of Mr. Darcy. Today, we turn our attention to a character who is often overlooked, sometimes pitied, and frequently judged. A character who makes the single most controversial and perhaps the most realistic decision in the entire novel. Today, we analyze the quiet, calculating, and unromantic genius of Charlotte Lucas. She is the shadow heroine of Pride and Prejudice, the voice of sober reality in a world intoxicated with romance. Her story is not about finding a soulmate, but about securing a future. And in her choice, Jane Austen delivers one of her most profound and uncomfortable social critiques. To understand Charlotte, we must first understand her predicament, which is far more dire than Elizabeth's. At 27 years old, she is already on the path to becoming a spinster, a fate that in the Regency era meant social invisibility and financial dependency. She is described as sensible and intelligent, but plain. She lacks Elizabeth's vibrant wit and Jane's stunning beauty, the two primary currencies for women on the marriage market. With a negligible fortune, her options are dwindling rapidly. While Elizabeth can perhaps afford to wait for a man who values her mind, Charlotte understands with a chilling clarity that time is her enemy. Her hunt for a husband is not a whimsical pursuit of love, it is a desperate, strategic campaign for survival. She is not playing for love, she is playing for a home. Her philosophy is laid bare early in the novel, in her conversations with Elizabeth. Her advice regarding Jane and Bingley is a masterclass in pragmatism. She argues that a woman had better show more affection than she feels in order to secure her object. She believes that once security is achieved, there will be leisure enough for falling in love. This is not the voice of a cynic, but the voice of a realist who understands that in her world, emotion is a luxury one can only afford after the bills have been paid. She sees marriage not as a romantic destination, but an economic necessity, a profession for women. Her statement, "Happiness in marriage is entirely a matter of chance," is her core thesis. If happiness is random, then it is foolish to base the most important decision of one's life on such an unreliable variable. A rational person, she believes, should focus on what is tangible and controllable: a comfortable home, a respectable position, and financial stability. This philosophy culminates in the novel's most shocking transaction, her engagement to Mr. Collins. The speed and efficiency of this move are breathtaking. The moment she understands that Elizabeth has rejected Collins, she recognizes a rare market opportunity. Here is a man who, despite being a complete fool, holds the keys to a kingdom, the Hunsford parsonage, a secure income, and a patronage of the great Lady Catherine de Bourgh. For Charlotte, Mr. Collins is not a potential partner. He is a pre-approved financial package. Her engagement is not an act of desperation, but a swift, intelligent business decision. She sees the asset, assesses its value, not in terms of companionship, but in terms of security, and she acquires it before any other competitor can. Her defense of this choice to a horrified Elizabeth is one of the most powerful moments in the book. "I am not romantic, you know," she says. "I never was. I ask only a comfortable home, and considering Mr. Collins's character, connections, and situation in life, I am convinced that my chance of happiness with him is as fair as most people can boast on entering the marriage state." This is not an apology. It is a declaration of her principles. She has weighed her options and chosen the path of least risk. She is a brilliant strategist who has accepted the limitations of her world and has found a way to win the game on her own terms. She understands that while Elizabeth can afford to wage a war for romantic ideals, her own battle is one of a quiet, desperate search for a safe harbor. From an artistic perspective, we can see the two friends as representing two different schools of thought. Elizabeth, as we have said, is a romantic. She believes in the sublime power of individual feeling, the truth of the heart, and the ideal of a perfect union. Her life is a quest for a grand, passionate masterpiece. Charlotte, on the other hand, is a neoclassicist. She believes in order, structure, reason, and pragmatism. She is not seeking a sublime masterpiece. She is seeking a well-crafted, functional, and durable piece of social architecture. Her marriage is not a passionate poem, it is a carefully constructed piece of prose, clear, logical, and designed to stand the test of time. When Elizabeth visits her at Hunsford, we see the results of Charlotte's design. And, surprisingly, she is not miserable. She is content. Why? Because she is a masterful manager of her own life and expectations. She has achieved exactly what she set out to achieve, a comfortable home. She has strategically arranged her domestic life to maximize her own peace and minimize the influence of her foolish husband. She gives Mr. Collins the best rooms in the house, encouraging him to spend his time there or in his garden. She politely ignores his absurdities. She has, in essence, married the parsonage, not the parson. His presence is merely the price of admission to a life of security and independence that she would never have had otherwise. She is the mistress of her own domain, a queen in her small, self-created kingdom. This is her quiet, unromantic victory. It is the victory of a pragmatist who understands that sometimes the most intelligent choice is not to fight the system, but to find a way to make the system work for you. Charlotte Lucas is therefore one of literature's most vital and uncomfortable characters because she forces us, the readers, to confront the reality behind the romance. She holds up a mirror to the fairy tale and shows us the harsh economic framework that governs it. She is a constant reminder that for every Elizabeth Bennet who has the luxury and courage to wait for her Mr. Darcy, there were thousands of Charlotte Lucases who had to make a different, more difficult choice. She is not a villain, nor is she a tragic victim. She is a survivor, an intelligent woman who played a difficult hand with remarkable skill and clear-eyed realism. Her story forces us to ask difficult questions. Is a life of comfort and security without romantic love a tragedy, or is it a form of happiness in itself? Is it better to hold on to one's ideals and risk a future of dependency and poverty, or to make a pragmatic compromise to secure one's own agency and a room of her own? Jane Austen provides no easy answer. She presents Elizabeth's path and Charlotte's path as two valid, if vastly different, responses to the world they lived in. And so, I leave you with this final thought. Was Charlotte Lucas a traitor to her friend and to the ideals of romantic love? Or was she in fact a quiet feminist icon, a brilliant strategist who secured her independence in the only way available to her? I invite you to share your thoughts on this complex and fascinating character in the comments below. Thank you for joining me for this deep dive into the heart of pragmatism.